Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Kamil Oman bin Faizal. So for today's presentation, I will be presenting about Islamic economy in UAE. Financial industry has escaped the global financial crisis rather smoothly and is sustaining strong growth rates, conducting structural reform and mastering modern banking and technology. Islamic finance is one of the world's fastest growing sector. Islamic economics define economic problems differently from man-made rules and institutions. It is based on Islamic human welfare rules that give an alternative set of economic criteria. Islamic finance emerged in 1963 in Egypt but gained relevance during the 2008 global financial crisis. The UAE government recognized the importance of the Islamic economic sector fueled by the 1.6 billion strong worldwide Muslim community. Dubai opened the world's first Islamic bank, Dubai Islamic Bank (DIB) in the 1970s. It also has the first global Sharia compliant exchange, Dubai Financial Market. According to the third edition of the Global Islamic Indicator (GIEI), which analysed the strength of the Islamic economy in 73 countries, and UAE was rated second behind Malaysia and first in the five areas. Although the UAE and Dubai government have taken initiative to encourage the Islamic economy and progress has been evident, persons working in the sector still confront problems. This is the aim of this article. The first issue is the lack of an appropriate and comprehensive regulatory regime. There are currently several different structures and models being used in the market, and this has been negatively impacting the progressive evolution of the sector. It also affects transparency as to the right and risk which are associated with this different structure. This problem has a particular impact on the takaful, Islamic insurance and banking sector, and can mean end user find it difficult to understand the legitimacy of this structure and their overall compliance with Sharia. Second, exposure to undefined risk. The Islamic industry has yet to develop effective governance and risk policies which are able to provide the required support in securing maximum transparency and strength when considering the financial and structural challenges in which the overall sector is exposed to. These aspects are essential to ensuring consistency in the performance of the Islamic economy and enabling steady growth in the sector. Last issue is the lack of the HR competence and qualified resources. This has been one of the biggest challenges impacting the growth of Sharia compliant institutions. They are struggling to find qualified staff and advisors who can help support their growth and develop new ideas which will enable them to both compete with conventional institutions and reach a wider group of consumers and end users, including those not necessarily or exclusively within the Muslim communities. Solution: widening the role and empowering the National Sharia Board. It is important that this board start its work to harmonise the principles and views of Sharia scholars and on controversial structure on a strong footing. It should also be able to impose itself and be the main regulatory body overseeing Sharia compliance and helping to develop the compliance culture among those involved in the sector. Second is enhancing the level of interaction with the industry player. One area which may help develop the Islamic financial system would be the issue of guidelines and papers on the main risks faced by this industry. Initiative of this type will help increase the level of interaction between the main players in the market and make it easier for the challenge they face to be understood by the government and regulators. More interaction of this type may also help address the issue of competition with the conventional institution. Lastly, the creation of a training centers for industry experts. More qualified experts in the field of Islamic finance are needed, and this should be supported by the creation of new education and training centers. Since UAE is the pioneer of the Islamic finance in the world, so there are no micro issues on Islamic finance itself, but there are issues has been seen in a macro perspective in order to develop Islamic finance in UAE. The Islamic banking system has numerous major flaws: lack of appropriate and comprehensive regulatory regime, there is no single regulatory code for Sharia compliant institutions and risk exposure. The Islamic industry lacks an appropriate management and risk policy to guarantee maximum transparency and strength in handling financial and structural difficulties. This is one of the biggest challenge facing Sharia compliant institutions as they try to find qualified employees and consultants to support their growth and develop new ideas that will allow them to compete with the traditional institutions. Exclusion of the topic. Chapter 1. This country Islamic economy shows that the economy is continually evolving. The growth of the Islamic economy in this nation demonstrates how the economy evolved. This topic includes 6 economic forms, including Islamic economic. Second is chapter 5. Riba also affect Islamic finance. Now Muslims are more mindful of the thing that we use, like riba in loans and in other transactions. Islamic countries should have more Sharia compliant institutions instead of conventional ones to fulfill Allah's commandment. This will also aid another Sharia command with Allah blessing. Lastly, in the chapter 7, state rule is another section. This show we need more professionals in this field, which lead to work for anybody. This might assist with unemployment caused by the current crisis that kills several sectors. If a country cares for its citizens, it protects their well-being.